said, you know, someday they'll have a suitcase, and in that suitcase, it'll be nuclear, and you'll blow up New York City out of a suitcase. Blow up New York City out of a suitcase. But you can fire up a submarine and run it for years on essentially a tablet.
I'm pretty sure if you look up, "you can't make this shit up" in the dictionary, there's a picture of Donald Trump sitting right there looking back at you. Because you honestly cannot make this shit up. For those who missed it, this is Donald Trump sitting with Tucker Carlson for one of the most deranged, one of the most insane, one of the most idiotic interviews that has ever been given. Never mind an ex-president of the United States of America. Just an absolutely unhinged, incoherent interview by Donald Trump. I mean, these two literally didn't even have to open their mouths. They don't even have to say a word before this interview is bizarre. I mean, just look at the setup. Look at this setup. I mean, usually in a long-form interview, you have a table for each person that you can put a water on, or you have a big table in the middle that you can put your stuff on or whatever. What the hell is this setup? I mean, look at these two. Donald Trump looks terrible. I mean, he literally looks like a child in timeout, waiting for his parents to come over and tell him that he can come play with his friends again. I mean, last time I checked, Tucker Carlson is reported at 6 feet tall. Donald Trump is supposedly 6'3". Now you look at these two. Look at these two. Now you tell me which one of these two looks bigger in stature right now. Who looks bigger to you? Donald Trump might have the smallest hands on the planet in this interview. I mean, check this out. It's crazy. I guess Donald Trump forgot that the pumps in the heels of your shoes and the lifts that he wears don't help him out much when he's sitting down. But the thing that stood out to me in this interview, stood out right away, is Donald Trump's sniffling. What the hell is going on with that? I mean, this guy is either allergic to fake gold or he's allergic to the bullshit coming out of his mouth. I mean, check out this montage I put together, and no, this is not fake. Every single one of these is real, and I can promise you, this is from one 8-minute clip of this 1-hour interview. Check this out.
Yeah.
But you no. You know,
yeah.
But now, give me a little jet fuel.
Jesus Christ. I mean, we can all speculate as to why he's sniffling like a madman and why it sounds like he's trying to suck his upper lip into his nostrils, or like he's trying to suck a bullfrog through a straw that's covered in peanut butter. I mean, who knows? But there's definitely something going on. That's for damn sure. And speaking of bullfrogs, what the hell is going on with Trump's neck? I mean, is he slowly turning into a pelican? I mean, does he try to keep like several fish or like cheeseburgers and Diet Coke in that waddle he's got going? I mean, what the hell is that? Here he is on just another incoherent rambling, just openly confessing about the time he told one of our adversaries about a military action that we were taking before it was reported in the news. See if you can follow this nonsense about chocolate cake and treason and telling me that Xi is the smartest guy and that he had a great weekend, yet the only word he's ever said to you was repeat.
President Xi, very good conversations. I liked him a lot. I told him we shot 57 missiles into Syria while he was having chocolate cake. It's the only time he said, repeat. That was the only word I've ever heard him say in English, meaning he speaks English, okay? We're having dinner at Mar-a-Lago. And he wanted to be at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the president of China was just dying to be at your little shitty hotel in Florida, and it had nothing to do with the fact that you were now able to charge exorbitant prices to everybody on his team and yours.
We had a great weekend, but we're having dessert now. Beautiful chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago. He had his people. I had mine. He was telling me stories about China, the history of China is very amazing. It's got an amazing 5,000 years, amazing history. So I shot 57 missiles, almost every one of them hit, into a military area, which had a lot of planes, wiped out a lot of planes, also had Russian soldiers, by the way.
Somehow, in all that rambling, he is still not finished telling the story of how he committed treason by telling our adversary what our military actions were going to be before they even happened. I mean, this guy is such a pig and so out of touch with reality that at the same time he is going through the criminal charges in New York for having a sexual affair or a sexual encounter with a porn star while his wife was at home taking care of his kids, is now getting sidetracked on his story because he was attracted to the interpreter that the Chinese President Xi brought with him. I shit you not. He even admits that there was more interpreters there, but this one really stood out. I wonder what Melania thinks of these comments.
But we shot approximately 57 missiles. And so when I dealt with President Xi, I was with him the whole weekend. He had an incredible, I'm not allowed to say it because it's very impolite and very politically incorrect, a beautiful female interpreter. She was very beautiful. Today, if you say it, they'll say, this is terrible. You're not allowed to say that.
No, Donnie, I'm pretty sure it's okay to call a woman beautiful. It's when you pin them in a hotel room and force them to do sexual acts or start grabbing them in areas they don't want to be grabbed in where you get in trouble.
But she was very professional. She spoke every word for him. Very professional. I had another couple of them too, but she was there. And we're having dinner. And he would come in and say hello. She would say hello. He wouldn't say any word.
He would come in and say hello, but he would never say a word. How does that work?
But I said to him, a general came up and said, do we do it now? I said, yeah, you have to do it now. So I gave the order during dinner. Then I said, well, do I tell him? Because they're very closely associated with Syria. Do I tell him now or do I wait till he finds out after dinner? Because you have about 28 minutes before they hit. So I said, President, we've just fired approximately 57 missiles into Syria, into a base. The missiles are on their way right now. He looked at me and goes, repeat. That's the only time he's ever said it. So I think he speaks English. The only word, he never said hello or goodbye. He only dealt through an interpreter. The only word I ever heard him say was repeat.
I'll just never understand how an adversary of the United States and a person that's only spoke one word to you in their entire life could ever get you to say this about them.
How smart is he? Could you tell?
Top of the line.
Top of the line.
Yeah, they're all top of the line. Our guy's not top of the line. Never was. These are top of the line people at the top of their game. President Xi is a brilliant man. If you went all over Hollywood to look for somebody to play the role of President Xi, you couldn't find it. There's nobody like that. The look, the brain, the whole thing.
What the hell is this guy talking about? You couldn't go in Hollywood and find a brain like President Xi's? What the fuck? Here he is giving absolute praise to every single one of our adversaries and some of the most ruthless dictators on this planet. Now remember, this is the same guy that does nothing but talk shit about this country, does nothing but say that the leaders of our country are incompetent, and has nothing but bad things to say about the leadership of the military in the U.S. today.
But people ask me, how smart is she? I said, top of the line. You never met anybody smarter. How smart is Kim Jong-un? Top of the line. You know, people say, oh, this and that. Really smart.
And I also love when Donald Trump's ridiculous talking points contradict one another almost immediately. Here he is facing the challenge that he has, where he wants to say that he rebuilt the U.S. military and that the U.S. military is ready and capable of anything. But at the same time, we've given everything to Ukraine and we're out of ammunition, we're out of tanks, we're out of airplanes. Listen to this nonsense.
You know, we have the most incredible equipment. I rebuilt our whole military. We have things that are, you can do anything. We're equipped to do anything.
A few moments later.
We don't have any ammunition. We've given it to Ukraine. We're not prepared to fight. I rebuilt our military, new planes, new tanks, new everything. They've taken the military that I've rebuilt and they've given it all to Ukraine.
And here he is doing his absolute best to spread Russian propaganda and more anti-American talk by strongly and heavily implying that the United States was behind the Nord Stream pipeline bombing. Even though there was Russian ships in the area and that the Russians have the capabilities and cameras all along that pipeline to tell us exactly what happened, not to mention the little machines that they have that go up and down the pipeline to clean them that could easily have high explosives attached to them. If the United States has done this, and Russia has evidence of this, don't you think it would be in Russia's best interest to come out with the evidence of this? but none has come out. Nothing to say that the United States was behind this in any way, shape, or form has come out. But here's the ex-president of the United States clearly implying that the United States was behind it.
Who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline?
I don't want to get our country in trouble, so I won't answer it. But I can tell you who it wasn't, was Russia.
Yeah.
How about when they blamed Russia? You know, they said Russia blew up their own pipeline. You got a kick out of that one, too. It wasn't Russia. So I won't answer the question only because I don't want to get our country any deeper than they already are. So that was blown up and very dangerous to do it. But I think most people know who did it.
There are few talking points that piss me off more than Trump saying that Russia would not go into Ukraine while he was president, while at the same time forgetting they were already there. They were already in the Crimea in 2014. Don't forget about the Donbass with Luhansk and Donetsk. You didn't make them leave. They didn't leave the Crimea. They were already in Ukraine. So shut the hell up about that one. And China, please stop talking China up like they're some fucking superpower, because they're not. Their ships are all diesel. I don't think they can go more than 400 miles offshore without being refueled. They have 2 aircraft carriers. One of them doesn't work. Both of those are diesel. And none of the planes that they have can take off from those aircraft carriers. They're basically big fucking transport ships that have no way of launching planes. So please, enough with this China taking over Taiwan bullshit.
Russia, if you know how to deal. Russia wasn't going into Ukraine with me. China wasn't going into Taiwan with me. I mean, now all you see is, you know, China with ships all over the place and sending airplanes and bombers. That wasn't happening with me. He knew you can't do it. And also, Russia knew you can't do it. They would have never done it. The most dangerous period of time because of weaponry, because of nuclear, because of weaponry, most dangerous period of time in the history of our country.
Here he is not only blaming Joe Biden and the U.S. military leadership for his disastrous agreement that he signed in Doha, Qatar, without the involvement of the Afghan government that ultimately led to the fall of Afghanistan. The agreement also severely hindered the options that the United States could take and directly led to the chaos and craziness of the Afghanistan withdrawal. This is also the same agreement that released 5,000 Taliban members from prison, many of which went on to have high-level positions in the Taliban to this day. First, Trump says he wants to get us out of Afghanistan because we've been there too long. Yet he had 4 years in the White House and didn't get us out of Afghanistan. Joe Biden got us out of Afghanistan. Next, he says he wanted to take all the military equipment out. Then he says he wanted to keep Bagram Air Base. Well, if you're keeping Bagram Air Base, then you're not really getting out of Afghanistan, are you? So which one is it? And if you're taking home all the military equipment and all the military members, what are you holding Bagram Air Base with? Absolutely nothing this malignant narcissist says makes sense. Only in his brain does this make sense, and the people that follow him have absolutely lost their minds if they can make sense of anything this fucking guy says.
Afghanistan, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I think the most embarrassing moment that this country's ever had, frankly, the way we got out. Not the getting out. We had to get out. It was ridiculous to be there. And I had that so good, so tight, so tough. Everybody knows that was their plan. That had nothing to do with me. I was getting out too. We would have gotten out with strength and dignity. And what happened? They got out. And the other day I hear, yeah, it was Trump's fault. Oh, that's right. It was Trump. I was gone for a long. I would have been out faster than them. We would have had all the equipment.
And last but not least, this absolute lunatic goes on a rant about dogs and his love for dogs and trying to blame the United States for leaving German Shepherds behind during the withdrawal, even though what he doesn't know is that the dogs were actually property of the Afghan military, donated to the Afghan military by the U.S. military for military purposes. It's really funny that he tries to get us to believe that he has some love for dogs, even though I've never seen him pictured with a dog. And it's actually ironic because I know another historic figure that had a love of German Shepherds. Didn't end too well on that one, though.
They left in the dark of night. They left the lights on. They left the dogs, by the way. You know, the people say about the dogs. They left the dogs. Everyone, you know, the dog lovers, and you got a lot of them. I love dogs. You love dogs. But they left the dogs. People said, what? One of the first questions I got, what did they do with the dogs? Mostly German Shepherds. They left them.
It's amazing how this guy takes every opportunity to shit on the country that he used to be president of, while at the same time praising every single one of our adversaries. We all know that this guy's mental acuity and sense of reality left the chat a long time ago, but this is just starting to get cartoonish now. I mean, who the hell in their right mind could watch this guy, see this guy cower like a little baby next to Tucker Carlson, who is not the most alpha man in the world, and think that this guy should be anywhere near the office of the presidency of the United States of America? It just blows my mind. But hey, now he's facing years of accountability and legal trouble, and he's going to continue to speak, so we're going to continue to cover it here on the MeidasTouch Network, calling out his hypocrisy, calling out the fascism, calling out the bullshit. So stay right here, stay tuned while we hold this guy accountable and all the cronies that had anything to do with his hand in meddling in the democracy of this country.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment Season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.meidastouch.com.